Hi everyone, it's Mr. Grest again, and this is lesson 2 of the Unit 4. And whereas last time we were looking at the components of well-being, this week we're going to be looking at what fitness is, how we develop fitness, what the government recommendations are for different age groups for maintaining the fitness. But then we have to look at the evaluative nature of what are the positive and negative effects of maintaining fitness. Right, on the next slide, I'm going to ask you to pause the video and you're going to read 2 infographics on government guidelines for physical activity for different age groups. What I would like to do on worksheet 4.2 in your booklet is look at what the activity recommendations are for each age group, what the benefits to improving fitness are, and at this stage I'd like to think if you can see any negative benefits or negative results, of being physically active. So if you can pause now and you're looking at what the recommendations are for each age group, what the benefits are, and remember, see if you can come up with any negative aspects of being physically fit. So hit pause and have a go at that. Right, before we review your answers to that, the definition of fitness which you need to get down is the ability to meet the demands of the environment. But what we need to ask is fit for what? So for instance, if you're like a pensioner, it might be just fit to be able to walk to the shops and go about your everyday life. Whereas if you're an international sports person, then it's obviously been fit to meet the demands of the game. As we know, we've seen in the previous one, fitness and well-being are very, very closely linked because you improve your fitness, not only does your physical health go up, but also it has a massive impact on your emotional health. You feel much better about yourself, and it has a great impact on your social well-being, where you can make new friends with the people that you're working with. So the task we asked you to do earlier on in this video, you were to look at the positives from the government infographics, but also we asked you to come up with some negative effects. And in the next 2 slides, we're going to go through what those positive and negative effects of exercise are. Right, so starting with the positive effects of fitness, we can obviously achieve optimum weight, so we're less likely to be overweight or obese by being physically active. It has a big impact on coronary heart disease and strokes and also type 2 diabetes, so we're less likely to have maybe a heart attack because we're burning the fats and the sugars, we're using them in our bodies. Our cardiorespiratory system become much more efficient, so that means our cardiovascular fitness, our muscular endurance are going to be much better. So everyday tasks can be carried out easier. Your self-esteem, you feel much better about yourself. You're happier in yourself, so you increase your confidence. Because you're burning lots of calories, your sleep improves, and sleep obviously enables us to recover, and it enables us to absorb what we've done in that day or in that training block. And then finally, you get a much better immune system, as we've seen with the COVID pandemic. People who are getting really ill are people who are less active with the pre-existing conditions, and being fit can actually increase your immunity. So it's so important that we remain physically active. And now on to the negative effects. Exercise addiction and overtraining is a thing. So exercise addiction are people who can't help but exercise, and that leads to overtraining. Dysmorphia is when your view of your own body is different to how it actually looks. So you may feel that you're very fat when you're actually not. So again, exercise can do that. Or maybe you've not got the same muscles as other people in the gym, so it makes you feel sort of less confident. As we saw in chapter 3, looking at injuries, overuse injuries, things like golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, arthritis, some young people, Osgood-Schlatter disease, can be caused by exercise. And then the lack of recovery time. So if we train too much and we don't allow our body to rest and recover, we can increase the risk of muscular injury. So whilst it's very important to hit those government guidelines, we do need to be spreading them out across the week so we don't become injured. So that's the end of the lesson. What I'd like to do now is go back to worksheet 4.2 and just check that you've got the government guidelines on there. You've got the definition of fitness that you need, and make sure it's government guidelines for both age groups. And then can we see if we've got any positives and negatives? And if you haven't highlighted which is which, maybe get a highlighter pen, and maybe in green you can highlight the positive effects, in red you can highlight the negative effects. So I hope that was helpful, and as ever, if any questions, please ask your teacher.